Hi, We Time Convo listeners. This is Debbie.
This is Lana.
And today we're talking about name choices after marriage. Do you want to keep or change your last name? Also, I'll give you guys a quick update in regards to Vanessa's 18th birthday. Hi, we have a special guest today.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Lana. Thank you for stepping in.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
We're well into 2025.
Oh my gosh, it's March already. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot. It just felt like we were just getting over the holidays, and February tends to be a very busy month for me because it's my daughter's birthday month, and she just turned the big 18.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday.
Yes. So I now have an adult as my daughter, and it is wild. So
how does it feel?
A little bittersweet. I'm like really excited that she's, gotten to this milestone. 18 is a big deal, and I call her my adult now, but yet she's still my baby. She's far from being an actual adult.
Yeah.
Yours is coming up.
Yeah, mine is coming up in March. His birthday is like St. Patty's Day, so that's coming up soon. But when I think of like Dylan and Vanessa, I still remember them like in kindergarten, first grade. Because, I basically watched her grow up too. And now she's an adult. I don't know. You know how like our parents always think of us as their kids? I'm always going to look at them that way too.
I agree. And it's wild. I'm really happy that, obviously she's grown to be such a thoughtful, beautiful, well-rounded person. But yet again, like I said, she's still a baby.
Yeah, always a baby in your eyes.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I know in your the Filipino culture, you have what you call like a debut for 18, correct?
That's right. And speaking of that, I just recently signed her contract for her actual birthday party. I'm trying to stay away from calling it a debut, just because it's not a traditional debut, but we are definitely celebrating her 18th birthday. So I'm very excited over that.
Oh, that sounds exciting. So what's your plan so far for her birthday?
Oh my God, where do I start?
I mean, at least you booked the venue, so that's good.
Yes, I finally booked the venue. I mean, overall, it's just, thinking through the guest list, it continues to grow. And that's one of the reasons why, we picked the venue that we did, because obviously it could, accommodate a bigger party. We know we want to have it in the evening. She wants to do the dancing with her friends and having a good time. I think we're also landing on more of a formal party, just because, again, we've booked the venue. It's in a hotel. It's a ballroom. And so, why not get dressed up?
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. And then it's really on her to, figure out, as part of her 18th birthday, similar to our culture, we're looking at doing significance on 18. So she's picking 9 girls to do kind of a candle ceremony, and then 9 boys to do a rose ceremony.
Oh.
And then typically there would be a traditional dance, like a waltz, which she definitely has expressed she does not want to do. But who knows? Maybe I'll change her mind.
She's such a good dancer too. Like, why wouldn't she, right?
Yeah. So I think it's kind of fun. It's not often that you see these kids dancing and kind of like, the last time I saw her dancing like something with a choreography with, other, like an actual couple dance. Was probably when she was very, very young. So I think it'll be really cool to kind of see this and have her have that experience. So, but as of right now, she's kind of like, nah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. Because it's coming in the next couple of months, I wanted to do funny story. I wanted to do a save the date, like Irene did. and hers is well past my event, right?
Yeah.
And so she sent a save the date. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to send a save the date. So I went on Canva and I put something together. And then I sent it to my daughter, who I thought she would love. And her first reaction was like, Mom, she goes, it just looks like a save the date for Grandma's birthday.
What did it look like?
Well, I'll show you. Maybe we can post it up. But I was like, what? And she goes, I'm just saying. Like, she was just like, she's not trying to hurt my feelings. She goes, it just doesn't say Vanessa. And I'm like, okay. I go, God. And then she goes, do you want me to just do it? I said, yes. Could you just do it? But please get it done, because this needs to go out like ASAP.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So I think she's going to be working on it in the next couple of days, and we'll send it officially out. I go, it just needs to say save the date. We don't need to do the actual invitations, which, by the way, we've already decided from my perspective. When I got married, we didn't do any like paper invitations. So I'm just going to go ahead and send online invitations.
You know, the paper invitations I do love, but the thing is, like, what do guests do with it after, right? And it's very costly.
Yes. And I think also it goes back to sustainability for me, because to your point, I love paper. I actually love paper. I like pens and paper. And so you know how now as I'm getting older, I'm trying to transition more into taking notes on my phone or on my laptop. But in all honesty, I love writing. Yeah. I love seeing it on paper. I love reading books where it's not on a Kindle. It's on an actual book.
Yeah.
And so I love seeing it as well. It's just, you know, when I think about it, what do they do after?
Yeah.
Even like, for example, Christmas cards, right? Like Christmas cards, I get Christmas cards, greeting cards, and it looks great. But then now I have a stack and it's so hard for me to throw away.
Yes.
But I have a stack of this that has been accumulating for years.
Yeah. So I'm not like a sentimental person either. So I normally throw things away. But when it comes to Christmas cards, I don't know. I've had stacks of them for like over a couple years.
I'm shocked because I know that's so not you.
No, because I'm like, but then I feel bad, right? Like somebody took the time to actually send me this beautiful picture of their family. I feel bad just throwing it away, but it's sitting in my box in my house. And like, what do I do with it? Unless I'm cleaning out that box, I'm like, oh, look, this is Irene's family or Tammy's family, right? Yes. But yeah.
Yes.
And this is the reason why I don't do Christmas cards.
Is because you don't want that.
Yeah. I don't want the work of it, right? There is work in putting that together, like taking the photos, doing the layout, kind of like save the date, right? So I don't want to do that. And then secondly, it does cost a lot of money.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, it adds on. And like you said, what do you, and you wouldn't have hurt feelings if they threw it away because you would understand. Yeah. But yet I feel like bad.
Yeah. Are you? No, that's, I love paper invitations.
I think they're really beautiful. I told Vanessa, up to you in regard, I think she might do something for her 9 girls and 9 guys where she is actually going to ask them formally to be part of it. So I think that that's a great idea. But when I think about, you know, invitations for her party, I'm just going to do it online.
Yeah, you should. How is she going to find like 9 girls and 9 guys? I think for us, you know, high school is different, right? You have a ton of friends and you kind of have to narrow it down. But for me, I'm trying to think, if I got married again and I had to pick 9 bridesmaids, I don't know if I have 9. I know I have a good group of like 6, right? But I don't know about 9.
Well, it's interesting because I think for her, and she's been very lucky, is, you know, her sisters, she has her extended cousins. So from that perspective, I think from the girls' side, she's pretty set. I think on the guys' side, she's a little like potentially short.
Okay.
I don't know, but I have a good idea of who she's going to pick. But like you said, I don't know if she's going to hit the 9.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we got to start pulling out kids somewhere.
Yeah.
Our friends' kids.
And, she's being very thoughtful of it as well. I think ideally she's keeping it around the same age range.
Okay.
Which was a little different than my niece who did it a couple of years ago, where she had a mix from her age range to like us as her aunts.
Oh, okay.
So she really opened it up. I think Vanessa's going to try to keep it kind of around her age range. Probably the oldest is my niece Alexis. So.
Okay.
But other than that, she's really excited. I'm really excited now that I've committed to it. Yeah. But I'm also overwhelmed.
Oh, I bet, right? So you have the save the date coming. The catering, does it come with the reception?
So that's one of the reasons why we picked this venue. It's at a hotel, so they do have catering on site, and they will obviously set up. The challenge is it's a ballroom, and because it's a ballroom, it's pretty vanilla. And there's a lot of space. So in order to make it the vision that she's looking for, we're going to have to fill it. Filling it can be very expensive.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the challenge that I have is I'm probably going to spend more money on decorations than I really want to.
Yeah. Just to fill it, right?
Yes.
Oh man.
I think the food wise, we're good. We've accepted like this is what this is going to cost.
Yeah.
But the decorations of filling the room is going to be like, if we wanted to do it the way we wanted to do it, it'll be pricey. Even more so if I was to outsource it. So I am feeling like some of that I have to take on myself, which adds a little bit more stress to it because I honestly I don't really want to do anything.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to spend that much money either.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot. Well, you have us, so you can assign us to things. Right?
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah. So we're here.
But I do want you guys to really enjoy it. So I'm going to really try to minimize any of the asking for help. It's really exciting. It's been a while since I, threw a party. The last one was obviously when I got married, and to be honest, I just outsourced the whole thing on that one.
Yeah.
So this one is probably a lot more stressful.
Yeah. Well, when you got married, it was like out of the country. So a lot of things like you can't do there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I couldn't really bring much.
Right.
And I outsourced it. I mean, we had a wedding out of the country and they were very well versed in weddings, destination weddings. And so I just showed them a couple of pictures and they got it. And it turned out exactly what I was looking for. One of the things that I didn't realize about a destination wedding is obviously there's like flowers. You would not believe how much money we spent on flowers. And it was honestly, I couldn't bring any of it back.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the part that I didn't like comprehend.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a lot of the things that we spent money on, we couldn't have brought back.
Yeah. Because I feel like when we have weddings here, right? And like people have flowers and they're really beautiful, but they are costly. Yes. But your guests tend to take it home, like the centerpiece.
Yes.
But over there, they were so nice. And it's like, Irene, did you take one back to the hotel? I don't think we did, because it's like, what are we going to do with it? Yeah. You can't fly home with it.
No, you can't. And so it was just one of those things where we spent quite a bit on the flowers and we couldn't take it back. And so it was beautiful. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I really wish that I probably thought about it a little bit more. It is what it is. I don't regret my wedding. There was learnings from that.
Yeah.
So
speaking of weddings, when you did get married, did you end up changing your last name?
No, not legally.
Okay.
Not legally. I changed my name on certain things, and then in certain things I just kept my maiden name. Work-wise, I still have my maiden name. I don't know. How about you, Lana?
I did not change my.
What was what was the rationale behind that?
I just think it's so much work, right? It's like so much work to change your name because you have to do all these paperwork. And it's like, I couldn't picture myself like the Lana Mai. It just sounded like mine and my sister's name combined because my sister's name is Mai.
Oh, yeah, really?
So it didn't ring with me.
It didn't resonate with you at all.
So I'm like, no, that's okay. And even to when Trung ended up adopting Dylan, I think he was like maybe 8 or 9. I had asked Dylan, I said, Dylan, if you want to change your last name, I will change it with you. And he's like, no, I like, my last name. It reminds me of, grandpa, and I want to keep it. And I said, okay, great. I'm not changing it.
And how did Trung take it?
I don't think he cared.
He didn't.
And to this day, he doesn't really care because I don't think his mom changed her last name. And then my mom didn't change her last name either.
Got it.
Yeah. I think a lot of things my mom does sign with my dad's last name, but she still signs some stuff with her maiden name. Yeah.
Got it. Well, for me, I love hearing Mrs. And so I really enjoy that. But yeah, I haven't legally changed my name. And I don't know, like you said, it's just, I don't have the urge to. I think part of it as well is I do have a daughter who has a different last name as well. So part of it is just kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm being too like sensitive, but I just don't want her to feel also isolated. Like so, I have a different last name. She has a different last name. But then if I was to convert into another last name, would she feel left out? I don't know.
And that's why I asked Dylan, I said, do you want to change it? If not, then I'm going to keep mine too. Cause I felt the same way. I didn't want to change my last name, and he was the only one that wasn't a Mai, right? Yeah. And I didn't want him to feel left out or anything like that. So I think, I get what you're saying too. The only obstacle I would say was like when I did Logan's passport, it was just like, okay, cause you need both parents there. And at that time, I think Trung was traveling. So I had to have all these documents, and I forgot something. And then they ended up calling him, and they're like, okay, we want to make sure you're the father, things like that. But other than that, no, I think it does get confusing. Like when you're traveling, I'm always booking it. Right. So then when they come in, they're like, hi, Mr. Nguyen, right? But it's like Mr. Mai. But he's gotten used to it, and he's like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
It's actually this very same with Peter as well, because sometimes I'll book it under my last name and they'll call him Mr. Mendoza. And he's like, oh my God. But he's very proud of his last name. So, he loves it. I think if I did change it, it would probably be a hyphen. Okay. I don't think I would ever get rid of my last name. Part of it is just, that's like my identity.
Yeah.
I've never changed my last name. So especially in, I worked really hard at my career as well. So there's a little bit of pride in that. And I'm a first daughter. So I'm the eldest child. So there's a little bit of pride in that as well, just to kind of carry on my family's name. And then, like I said, I think if I was to change it at this point, people would be like, who's that?
Yeah. They're like, what? They're all confused.
Yeah. So I think that's some part of it. And I've realized too, in the workforce, I've worked with a lot of accomplished women, and I realized they kept their maiden name as well. But, once in a while, Peter will poke me about it. And then I said, yeah, I'll get to it. And but I don't think that he's hard pressed for me to change it.
Yeah. Otherwise he would have made a big deal by now, right?
Exactly. So interestingly enough, I actually asked Peter if he would be open to just creating a new name with both of us.
Oh.
Like Mendoza Han as kind of our new family name.
Yeah.
He was adamantly a no. That's not happening.
Well, you said he's really proud of his last name,
well,
right?
yes, but I'm also proud of mine as well. And why is it that because I'm a woman, I need to like conform to this like this name changing?
Yeah.
Just because I'm a woman, I'm proud of mine too.
Yeah.
But I was pretty open about like, hey, we can combine it and create a new family name. And he was like, no, that is not happening.
Yeah, I don't picture my husband saying yes to that either. But I do know somebody that he actually took his wife's last name and hyphenated both of their names.
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, it's interesting because my niece, so my sister has two girls, and they obviously carry their dad's last name. And one of them I had asked, like, hey, obviously to carry it forward, would you ever consider just keeping it? And she's like, oh, I already talked to her boyfriend about it. And he's like, no, he would be cool to combine the names.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty like, yeah, I would do it.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, that is amazing. Yeah. I don't see many men who would do that.
I think maybe they're more open to it these days than back then, right?
Yes. Like I said, it's just one of those things where I do like being called Mrs. Hahn. But I guess it's weird because I love it. Like, where I changed it? It was all like on Yelp or like
your email,
my open table, like all those like social stuff. I was like totally fine doing it. But then like on my professional front, because like you said, it takes a lot of effort to legally change it.
Yeah.
But then even on the professional front, I kind of like to keep my own identity.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's weird. But yeah, I don't see myself. And I think I'm very lucky that my husband hasn't really pressed me on it. I think that's kind of like the whole new like generation and the future generations. They're not tied to like keeping the last name.
Yeah. I think
or changing the last name.
Yeah. I think it just really depends, right? Especially like if your husband is not really pressing you for it, it's like, what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Like if my husband's like, I don't care as long as my kid has, my last name, then I'm fine with that. I'm like, great. I don't have to do any paperwork.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I kind of wish I did. So when I had Vanessa, I wasn't married. But she picked up her dad's last name, of course. And he actually did give me the opportunity at the time. When she was born, he's like, if you want to add your last name, that would be fine. And I was like, no, she's fine, And then now as I look back, I'm like, oh, it would have been nice to have both our names.
Yeah. I mean, she could still change it if she wanted to.
Oh, I think
she's 18.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I think, well, it's interesting because I do think like she may, like, I don't know if she would ever, but I do think that there is something to be said about having those connections, right?
Yeah.
Like to your, like, so I think part of it is she knows that I don't have like, maybe it's a part of that identity. But no, I mean, I like I said, she's 18. She can do whatever she wants, but I highly doubt that she would do that.
Yeah.
The advantages of keeping your name is from the perspective of professional recognition, maintaining your identity, less administrative hassle, and really the family lineage of you being the last person in your family with your last name.
I think with that, does it mean more when you're a male versus a female, like the last name? Like for instance, my brother-in-law, his last name, if he doesn't have kids, that's it. Yeah. But like for females, it's like when we have kids, yes, they take the dad's last name, not ours, right? Unless we change it to that.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder about that.
Well, I guess I wonder how important it is for somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Depending on what their values and their family dynamic, right?
Yes. Some people just, like I asked my dad at one point. So my dad, he's one of two boys in his family. He obviously has me, my sister, and my brother, but we have kids and all of them are girls.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it.
There's no more boys. Yeah.
There's no more boys. So that's another reason why I think for me it's important, because my dad's grandchildren actually, besides my brother's girls, don't carry our last name.
Yeah.
And my brother is not, I don't think, planning to have any more kids. So and none of us is planning to have more kids. So there's basically 5 granddaughters and that's pretty much it.
Oh, so your brother only has girls?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So from my dad's side, it's done. My brother is the last one to carry Mendoza
Oh.
for my dad. Now my dad's brother, he has kids. One girl, one boy, and the boy does have boys, so they will carry the Mendoza, but it's going through my uncle. My dad no longer will carry my dad's side. From my dad's side, he's done with my brother. So I asked my dad, does he care? He's like, no, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, when you're gone, right? I mean, what's in your last name? You're done.
No, but I mean, like, I was kind of like, Dad, are you just, he's like, no.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm totally fine that I have all my granddaughters. He does not like feel like he's lost something or missing something because he doesn't have a grandson.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they are saying some of the disadvantages of not changing your last name is one, social confusion, right? How we were talking about when we're booking travel. Challenges with children. Same thing, right? Changing our name versus not the kids if they're not the same dad. Potential workplace issues. I don't know about this one. What we talked about is like we already have our name and we have our career. So changing it
actually might cause the confusion.
Yeah, especially because I work in a school. So when teachers get married and they change their last name, it does confuse the kids at first because there are teachers where I still call them by their maiden name, even though they're married. So I feel like that's confusing. And then lastly, if, Debbie is married and didn't change her last name, but then people at work are, why didn't you change your last name? Right. So like questioning it, but I feel like
not many. I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. And then lastly, it says family pressure. So some families may expect you to take your spouse's name, which could lead to tension. But I feel like our husbands are like, okay, whatever. And, like, I don't think anybody has given me like, any tension or questioned me on not changing
your last name. Yeah.
Because all my girl cousins and then my sister herself, they all changed their last name to their husbands. And I think I am one of the only ones, I guess, that's
have
married.
Kept their
Yeah.
name.
But nobody has ever said anything or questioned me.
Yeah.
Or maybe not to my face.
Well, the interesting one is when you get divorced, do you revert back to your maiden name or do you keep the name that you took on? I've known situations of both.
I do too. And, again, working at a school, I've seen it where it's like, okay, are you back to your maiden name now that you're divorced? And it's just like, well, no, I'm just going to keep it for now.
Yeah. Well, final question for you, because this is another reason why I think some people don't change their last name to their spouse, their husbands, is because they actually think their last name sounds better.
Well, yeah,
right, than their spouse. So, like as you had mentioned, yours is very like your sister's name.
Yeah,
but like even like I think my last name is pretty cool.
I do like your last name. But I think my husband's last name is pretty cool too. But had I not have a sister with that name, I may have considered it. But it's just like, oh no, I can't do that. It just sounds like somebody's calling the both of us, right?
Well, no. Well, thank you for, giving me some insight to like why you haven't changed your last name.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're on the same page.
Well, I did not know that it was basically because you're like, that would be so weird.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. No.
But yeah, no. Yeah. So whether you keep your last name or you change it, it really is a personal preference.
It sure is.